Well, hey guys, good morning. How are you doing? This is Szabi from the Space Junkies, guys. I had a little bit of problems pronouncing our own name, but yeah, every beginning is hard. So, good morning. I'm Szabi from Space Junkie. We are a Hungarian YouTube channel, and I got David here with me. Hi, David.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, neither me nor Sabi is Felix. So if
Once again,
again, so this show is our regular Monday
echo, echo,
morning or
echo,
afternoon or evening show,
echo, echo,
whenever you
echo.
are.
They say. Just one sec. There was an echo. I'm just saying to Jonathan.
Okay,
Let's see if we can deal with it. Yeah, sounds good. Okay.
okay.
Sorry.
Then again, so we are not Felix, unfortunately. So, but we try to do our best. We are Hungarian guys, so this English, it's not our native language, but we try to do our best. So please bear with us and let's move on.
Before we move on, sorry, I just okay. So we are from Hungary and we got our own community, and this is how we take over every Monday. So welcome everybody wherever you are watching us. And before we start, I would like to highlight a very important celestial event that's unfolding these days. So tomorrow morning, if you're gonna go out before the sun will rise, you will see Jupiter and Venus very close to each other. As an amateur astronomer, I definitely urge all of you, wherever you are in the world, that go outside and take a look at yourself. As far as I know, they're gonna be like 2 moon diameter away from each other, or within two moon diameters away. This is actually a pretty cool thing to see. If you have clear sky, then definitely go outside. So this is today. This is how it's gonna be a day later and 2 days later. So they are kind of passing each other. Obviously, this is just the way how they look in real life. Venus is much closer and inwards to the sun, and Jupiter is outwards from us. They just appear at the same part of the sky. So definitely, I urge everyone to go out and take a look. If you like stars, if you like amateur astronomy, if you like all kinds of things that's related to the night sky. So we don't have an awful lot of events to talk about, but probably yeah, this is the action that we can see. Well, we will see today, right, David? There will be a rollout. We are not that lucky like last week that they're gonna roll out during the live show, but today, if you're gonna feel like you have a deja vu, that's for a reason, because we're gonna see the same rollout today. Hopefully, it's gonna happen, and we're gonna see some more action. Although it's not really a good thing.
Yeah, ideally we shouldn't see any rollout today, but yeah, life life is like for SpaceX. I mean, it's quite hard this entire year for the Starship program. So yeah, we won't be so lucky normally. Well, so the road closure time is from noon until 4 p.m. local time. So almost 2 hours later normally, but we have seen before that SpaceX doesn't stick every time for this rollout or road closure time, and it happened that they rolled anything before or after the originally planned load closure time. So that's why I don't say that we won't see ship 37 rolled out to be rolled out, but currently it seems that we will
We
just
most likely
miss.
will not see
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
we will miss it. But currently they are just putting from the Mega Bay stand to the transport stand. That's why the Mega Bay 2 door is closed, but it was open just minutes before the show began. So we can't see anything. We can't see inside to the Mega Bay 2, but yeah,
Well,
it seems they planned the
what
rollout.
if I say that we can? Because we
Okay.
can. We can sneak inside. Thanks for RGV aerial photography, because they took regularly pretty cool photos around all around the Starbase area, and this is here we are. So on the left, well, it's a bit hard to see it, but if I zoom in, we will see on the left that's ship 37, and just next to it, the more unfinished version is ship 38.
Yeah, but as we can see, the ship 37 is quite unfinished as well. So there will be still more things to do when it will be rolled back to the Mega Bay 1, Mega Bay 2, sorry, after the test, which will be, they say, only a spin prime test. So they will just spinning up the turbo pumps, so that won't be any ignition to the engines, because it seems these kind of a bit modified test article. I mean, this ring, what was supposed to be a transportation stand for ships. Of course, it was modified to a static fire stand, but it seems the forces and the other so the forces are not good for the ship entirely. So not neither the ship nor the engines. That's why they won't perform any ignition. Just they will do a spin prime test, and hopefully that will get enough and proper data for before the flight 10, so they can be sure that everything is fine with the ship and it's ready for the flight. But as I mentioned, after the spin prime test, there are some things still to do, especially with the heat tiles. So after the rolling back, it doesn't mean that the flight 10 can come on the next day. So if the spin prime test will be successful, let's say, and hopefully it will be successful and it will be performed tomorrow as they plan. Yeah, let's say that they will roll back the ship on Wednesday to the Mega Bay, and there will be still some week, almost 2 or maybe 3 weeks with the preparations. And rumor has it that the flight 10 can come at earliest around end of August. So that's why I'm mentioning that. However, they will do a spin prime test, which will be hopefully successful. That doesn't mean that the flight 10 will come pretty soon after it. So yeah, we are waiting for the rollout for the ship 37, and then we just we just looking with two eyes on the stand, because yeah, hopefully it won't hurt the Raptor engines, because they are quite sensitive.
As we know. Yeah, the problem is, and we actually made a video of it not too long ago, and I think Felix was talking about it as well. That the problem actually is that SpaceX wanted to sort of speed up the process as they were losing quite a lot of time. They're trying to probably cut corners to speed up things. So because they couldn't test second stages at the Messies, they tried to sort of move the action to the OLM to PED and sort of overcoming that problem. Quite rightly, because they want to proceed with the V2, with the leftover two V2 versions, but probably they because of they were rushing and probably the engineers couldn't pay enough attention. They just didn't calculate all the factors in, or they just didn't expect that some trouble gonna happen with the engines either on the test pad or during the transport. To be fair, we were discussing this with David, and it's a good question that exactly where the damage happened. Because if it happened during the transportation, then probably I don't know if they would risk again moving it, spin prime it, and then transport it again back, risking the damage again. So I would lean more, without any facts, obviously, but I would lean more onto that opinion that probably on the OLM itself, where the actual damage happened, and
Yeah,
that's
so
why they don't do the static fire now. I guess.
Unfortunately, there are no public information about the exact problems why they have um, swapped at least one Raptor engine, one Raptor vacuum, but maybe there were two of them. But yeah, there are no exact data how it came and what was the exact problem with that engine or engines. But anyway, they have to repeat the engine test, as I mentioned, not with the ignition, but with the turbo pump spin prime test. So yeah, it's quite strange, but it seems that they are quite in a hurry. So they try to save time, but with this haste, if I can say that, they are just making themselves even bigger problems, and they just moving to the right on and still on the right the flight data, which is not good for them because they have to collect data during the flight. So that's even when that's they are just before the generation change or moving to the version 3 boosters and ships, so first and second stages, but they still need any data from the V2, so the current generation,
Yeah.
especially with the ships, because there are still some tests to do which weren't performed uh, during the previous test flight in space. And that's the biggest problem. They don't have data, exact data from the heat shield, for example, and they just can't move on. They just can't develop the current situation to the next level because they don't have data.
To be fair, hand on heart, the biggest problem is not that. The biggest problem is that the V3 is not ready yet.
Yeah.
Because if there would be any V3, they wouldn't bother testing with V2 because it wouldn't be necessary because it's the same out from outside. It looks the same design. They still need to test the flaps, the new position of the flaps, and I'm bet you they wouldn't waste any second on any V2 versions if they would have the V3. But as we covered it last week, they don't have the V3 Raptor engines, they don't have the ships, the boosters. Well, one would be enough, but they don't even have one. So they just have to wait, and then I guess they just try to kill time. A lot of people were
And there is
mentioning
no
it.
pad to
Oh
launch
yeah,
from.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Very
quite
important. Very
it's quite
important.
important as well.
Indeed. A lot of people were speculating in our own community is that they are trying to show some activity for the investors, and that's why they are going ahead with the V2 and or instead of just waiting. But I don't think it's wise because if that's the case, because we saw that things are not really going the way they expect. Okay, flight 9 was quite all right, but still far from what they expected. And if anything else goes wrong, or if they're gonna have another flight 7 or flight 8, I'm not too sure if that will convince the the investors.
Yes.
So it can harm them even more if that's the original reason. It can harm them more than help.
Yeah, on the other hand, maybe they want to encourage the engineers and technicians as well to have some positive feelings that, okay, finally we had a successful flight with the V2 versions, because so far this year is I wouldn't say it's total catastrophic for the Starship program, but it's not. It's far from ideal. So they have already lost almost 8 months because yeah, there weren't any successful test flights with the V2 version. So how the last year ended, so how successful the V1 were V1 Starship were, so unsuccessful is the V2, unfortunately. So of course there were some problems with the Raptors, with the aft section, with the COPV. So everything what could came up, they came up. I mean the problems. So of course it's not saving any time for the engineers, but of course as we all the time say, it's still the best case scenario that these failures came up right now, quite in the early phase of the test program, and not later when they are far deeper in the program, because currently they can still modify the entire design as they want quite easily, if I can say that. And but after it, when the Starship is almost at the end of the development phase, and it's already or almost operational, that would be a much bigger problem when these problems were came up.
Yeah, we are hoping for the best, but I think they just want to get through the VT design. So again, in my opinion, nobody should be surprised at all if the next two flights with the V2 version, the leftover V2 version, is gonna be, well, some sort of failures or problems, but that's just gonna be part of it. There's nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they just need to get through it.
And with
Okay,
Eric
let's
Matthews mentioning more failures are coming, yeah, that's totally that's totally
a possibility. Yeah.
it's a reality, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So we can be sure that there will be problems, especially at the beginning, I guess, in the testing phase of the V3 versions. I would be the happiest when if no failures were coming up, but because it will be quite new and quite modified structure and design, we can expect some failures at the beginning, and but hopefully they will be through uh, these failures quite soon. And then, for example, the orbital tanking test can come in the next year, first half of the year, and then they can move on to the next phase.
Right. Okay. Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move to Messi's a little bit. We got some some cool photos from here. Well, first of all, this is again from RGV Aerial. This is showing the Messi's test site, and on the right-hand side of the river, that's already Mexico. But this is not the reason why we show it to you. It's because there are some cool photos that we want to show you from Starship Gazer, and this is the new booster quick
That's the
disconnect.
booster, yeah.
Yeah, quick disconnect for the V3 versions. That's pretty cool.
And it's not one but two of them. Like the Sith lords in the Star Wars.
Just to
there
make
are there are all
just
the
to make
times
it
two of them.
understand, if you take a look at the pad B, sort of we can see that they're gonna have two tanking adapters, right?
Yeah, there will be one of the LOX and one for the methane.
Yeah, so that's why we can see similar layouts
Yeah.
here in the Massies. Yeah, so it means that they are gearing up for testing V3s here, which is good.
Yeah, at least they can start the ground tests hopefully quite soon, but we have to still wait for the first V3 booster, which will be the booster 18, but it's still under construction. And yeah, of course, unfortunately, we can't see quite a lot inside the Mega Bay one when where the boosters are constructed and manufactured. But as far as we can see, the oxygen part of the booster is already finished or done, and hopefully it will be mated or stacked with the methane part quite soon. And of course, after it, there will be some other weeks um, when they just performing the other lines or just putting on everything what they are needed for the first tests, cryo tests here at the Messies. But at least the ground infrastructure is almost done for it.
And also, hopefully, they're gonna get started with these testing because the problem with the Massey's site wasn't only the fact that they cannot test the leftover 2V2 version second stages for Flight 10 and for Flight 11, but they couldn't proceed with these test articles
Mhm.
here that belongs to the V3 generation, and this is some important data that they couldn't get, although we were speculating a little bit about it, that why they couldn't go ahead with this. But just very briefly, David, what's going on?
I try. So the what we can see in the cage is the booster 18.1 test article, which is supposed to test the new design and everything inside what we can't see. And the problem is that almost everything is offline currently at the Masses, and they can't perform any test with this cage and with this test article, and that's why they can't just move on and step forward. And maybe that's the reason why they haven't finished the stacking of the booster 18, and they haven't started any more boosters, or just a couple of rings of the booster 19 and so on. So that's the biggest problem for them, that
Mhm.
they can't test the new design.
Yeah. And next to the test tank, there are some sort of debris. Let's just get closer because Interstellar Gateway took some cool shots of that booster 13 leftover
Hmm.
that was fished out by a recovery vessel, I would say. And then you can see those engines. Well, it's like at the dentist. These teeth are getting pulled out, and slowly they are getting rid of it. So you can see more and more engines are taken out, and we don't really know exactly what do they do with them, or do we? Well, they definitely end up, some of them, in the dumpster, but most likely they are inspecting the booster itself, the aft section, and they did try to get some information out of it. And I'm not
Some
entirely
of the Raptors were transported to the McGregor test site,
Mhm.
as far as I know.
Well, it looks like these are definitely beyond effed.
Uh, yeah.
Or screwed. So yeah, but if we take a
A
look
bit
at the
damaged.
again, yeah, I mean on these, I mean we can see that there are some relatively good ones in terms of the
Hmm.
bell or the nozzle. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure why they were salvaged. I mean, what exactly the reason was. Either they just did not want to leave it there for either for the fishes or some other, I don't know. Some bad people say that it's for the Chinese, but I wouldn't speculate that. But they just did not want to leave it there, or they actually wanted to get some data out of it. It's quite unknown. Um,
Yeah,
Also, there's another picture from Interstellar Gateway, and this is ship 36.
this was
Well, yeah. So as far
this
as
was
I,
36.
yeah, at some point. But I think these are from the Flame Trench from the Messies, if I remember well,
Hmm.
on that post. So they get out quite a bit of, yeah, pieces of that, yeah, unfortunate fate, ill-fated ship
On the
36.
left, on the left, we can see the thrust pack, which is quite, I wouldn't say intact, but it's still in one piece. It's quite interesting. It just didn't blow up,
This one,
or yeah, that's the round one.
the truss
That's
pack.
the thrust pack, yeah, where the other lines just coming in and coming out to the, or going out to the Raptors. That's the collection part of the lines.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
This is isn't it just for the vacuum raptor um, connection? Because it's just too small. Look above it.
not
There's
not the entire dome. Don't
okay.
but the only the truss pack where
Oh,
everything is coming in one piece. So the three vacuum and the three center engine,
I'm
the
not
pipes.
okay. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm
Okay,
sure because I have seen in a video, so I
okay.
can confirm
Because
it.
it's tiny. It's tiny. Because you
But
see,
it's
if
only
you
only the middle part of the entire thrust section.
okay. But that reminds me on there is the whole thrust puck, and there are three of these for every vacuum Raptor engines. Because you see, this is above it. This is a Raptor engine, and
Yeah,
just compare
that's
the
for
size
sure.
of it. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. We can move on.
Anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
chat, tell us if
Don't
you
waste
know.
any more time with that.
You went too into this, not me. Okay, let's see what else we can show to the viewers. Maybe a bit of PEDB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's taking shape quite nicely. And yeah, all both of the booster QDs are already installed, as you can see. And maybe that's not the mm, most or the latest photo, because
Couple of
the
days,
QD which is
I think.
facing us, so it's about 6 o'clock from this angle.
Mhm.
The hood is already installed on the oxygen QD as well.
Mhm.
But as far as you can see, there is still
Okay.
there isn't there, only
Mhm.
on the methane QD. But since then, the other hood is already installed, and there are some more concrete areas already. So the concrete is all the time poured.
There we go.
Yeah, there is it. Yeah,
Mhm. Okay.
and we can see the hold down clamps started to getting installed, of course, inside the ring. And yeah, lots of work is going ongoing all the time, 24/7, all around the clock, because they want to make it ready as soon as possible. But they have still some work to do, and they say this pad can be ready for the first checks for in October, somewhere around in October. But that doesn't mean that that the first launch can come in October as well, because as we mentioned previously in the show, the hardwares are not ready yet for it. So there is no booster and there is no ship for it, unfortunately. But anyway, that will be a good progress when the pad will be ready, at least.
Mhm. Okay. Probably one more thing from the build site. The new Gigabay area is coming together quite nicely. I
Hmm.
think this is what we discussed in before the show, that this is going to be a line for the Gigabay. So this area might be just clean and Gigabay free.
Yeah, that will be the staging area, or I don't know how to call it, but
Hmm.
of course on the left side is the highway 4, and maybe they will require some space to move in and move out everything, because they will be quite big. So even the boosters and the ships will be quite high, and maybe the SPMTs will need more space to just move around, and that's why there will be a space between the highway 4 and the Gigabay entrance.
Hmm. Okay. Do you feel like moving to Florida?
Yeah, let's move. Let's do
I
it.
mean, at least with the pictures. Okay. Let's see what we've got about Florida. Where do you want to start?
Or just one more sentence, actually.
Hmm.
If I just looking at the date, we've been at the Starbase exactly 3 years ago around this time. So
Hmm.
around
Hmm.
at the 11th of August. So yeah, they are good memories. But of course, it's not a surprise. But the Starbase looked like totally different as it looks like now. So and only 3 years just passed. So and these 3 years, everything just changed so much.
Well, totally. It's not even, yeah, it would be hard to compare. It's so much difference. No onion rings, onion rings. No, that's not. I'm not hungry, but
Are
I
you
don't know.
hungry?
No, 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 no. So no, no onion tents, no mid bay, no high bay,
No, no way.
um, no low bay. I think that was already gone by then. Probably.
Perhaps, yeah.
But yeah, Star Factory.
No tracking station.
No tracking station. Yeah, it's quite crazy. But yep, things are changing rapidly
Yeah,
at
and the Star
Starbase.
Factory was nowhere that day or that time.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with 39A if the decision is mine.
Okay. Yeah, so Florida will come in the news quite frequently and even more and more time in the near future because rumor has it that SpaceX want to maximize the progress to build up everything for the Starship program. That means that the SC-39A has to be built up, of course, with the current infrastructure, and it has to be even more developed. So, of course, the launch tower is ready, almost ready, but for example, the flame trench is still under construction, and they are some months behind the Starbase Pad B. I guess around 4 months or so. So what, as we can see on this satellite photo, the trench is already digged, and maybe they are currently at the concrete phase. So they started to pour the concrete at the bottom of the trench. And what we can see on the left from the tower, the different metal tank farms started to build up. So there are the methane. There is the methane part where this big sphere is. That was in the space shuttle time or space shuttle era, the hydrogen sphere, but it was modified to the methane sphere currently, and there are some other methane tanks. And um, next to the methane tank will be the oxygen tank farm. And what we can see between the Falcon 9 and the Starship pad, there are some three
This one?
quite small. Yeah, that will be the oxygen tank farm. And if you are just moving a bit to the bottom, next to the water tower and the Starship tower, there are already three quite small tanks. And if I'm correct, that will be the water deluge tank farm. And what we can see, there are these quite famous green pipes. What they have already started to lean down, and it's a good thing because it means that they are progressing quite well. But as I mentioned, they want to maximize the speed of the building, and every contractor and every party which is taking part in this construction, they will be moved in from the next month, and they will just going going with maximum speed, and they will work around the clock as well, because they want to have the first launch somewhere in 2026, maybe in 1 year, or maybe the last quarter of 2026. And it requires, of course, a good progress with this infrastructure. And that's the other reason why we have just moved to Florida, at least with pictures, because last week another or a renewed environmental impact statement, in short, EIS, just came out from the Federal Aviation Administration, so the FAA. And actually, these photos are from this document, which is a bit updated, even with the infrastructure and of course with the Starship details, because the last EIS was designed based on the V1 version Starship back to 2021, and of course some details were changed since then, and that's why a new EIS was required. But from this document, we can see a much clearer design and plan how the SC-39A, which is a historic launch pad, maybe it's not a surprise for you. So how this historic launch pad will be modified to just take in or get in with the Starship as well. So, which is an important detail, that will be there will be one launch tower, but that there will be another catch tower, which will be the first catch tower only, which is built for catching starships. And yeah, we just talked about before the show how the landing zone um, has to be taken. So whether it will be only for the starships or it will be for the Falcon 9s, because maybe as you know, the LZ1 and LZ2 landing zones were just taken back by the Space Force because the leasing was out, and that means every launch pad will have the uh, will have the
I think not LZ2, not yet. LZ1 definitely, but I
only
think
LZ1.
LZ, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because if there
Okay.
will be some more, I mean, up until there is no other landing pads, there is nowhere to land.
Hmm.
Not sure when the next. I think CRS 33 is going
Yeah.
soon, and that's
Hmm.
definitely an RTLS
Yeah.
launch as far as I know. So they need to land somewhere. So I think LZ1
Hmm.
is off
Hmm. Yeah.
from the use, but LZ2 is still on. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Thanks
it
for the
doesn't change.
correction.
Yeah, no, no,
So
that's fine.
it's not clear yet that this landing zone will be operating only for the starships or for the Falcon 9s as well. But
Mhm.
anyway, it's exciting detail that will be an um, exact catch tower only for the catching.
Yeah, just a little addition again. Sorry to chip in.
Sure.
I think as far as it proposed for Falcon 9s, they gonna land. So each pad is going to have their own landing
Yeah.
zones. So as Slick 40 as well, so SLC 40 and LC 39A as
Hmm.
well. Yep, it's only
And
two. Yep.
of course, in some years, the 37 will have it their own launch and catch pads as well. But yeah, there is another quite interesting graphic about the restriction areas. Yeah, just be
Oh,
sorry uh, about the previous graphic. So yeah, it's quite interesting and important that of course the LC39B is quite rarely used. So it's the launchpad for the SLS rocket, which is we would I wouldn't say it will be launched quite frequently. So it's the smaller problem. The bigger problem is for the ULA with its Slick 41 launchpad, because this restriction area means that every time when a Starship operation is online, or there is some activity, that means, for example, that the ULA can't use its own pad. So when it's everything is cleared, that means that the ULA engineers can't be there as well. So maybe they are not happy with with these plans, but the authorities has given green light. So unfortunately, I have to say it's their problem. I mean, it's the problem of the ULA guys, that they are the neighbors of of the SpaceX guys, and that means, or that maybe that there will be some debate about the operations and the activities about the Starship, the Falcon 9, and yeah, there will be some Atlas 5 launches, but rather Vulcan launches, and maybe there will be still a problem with the two companies.
I don't want to be too negative towards ULA, but last year they launched five. I mean, five times.
I
So
know.
it doesn't mean that they are not active and they are not there. And so far, it's not going to be such a big problem. The real problem comes when Starship is ready in a few years and the operational flights are rolling in, because it means, I mean, at some point they want to launch like every day. And
Yes.
then and even once a day, if everything goes well, that's 365 launches. But at some point they want to launch more than once a day. I don't know if that ever happens. Then I don't know how Kennedy Space Center will, or the area, gonna cope with it, and
Hmm.
even the people who live there. This is when we visited during the Axiom formation, we were just thinking about this. That if this is gonna be so loud, and we've seen quite a few launches, and you can hear it, and that's only a Falcon 9. That's not even a big boy like Starship. That's gonna be
Yeah.
so loud. Yeah.
And even if, as you mentioned, the frequent launches will be not won't be from LC39A, but for example from Slick 37, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
it's quite still in that area. So currently on this graphic is on the bottom part, and yeah, it's still quite in the near of everything. So that doesn't mean that okay, it will solve everything and starships can be launched from this launch pad every day. So yeah, these are plans only, but life is life can be totally different. And of course, there will be some. That's why I'm talking about the debates, the future debates, and and problems with the SpaceX, because yeah, not everybody is happy with them.
Um,
Let's to be frank.
Look, if I put this back, so that's Slick 37 down there, and Slick 40 is closest, and I think it's yeah, it's still gonna be affected. Most likely, they're still gonna be affected. Yes, I mean Slick 41 definitely gonna be affected by a Starship activity
Definitely, yeah.
again. Yeah, but if I if I think about how things are happening during a Starship launch, how many hours in advance they close the roads? 7-ish,
Eight, I guess eight.
eight, 8 hours. Uh-huh.
So every restriction activities
Mm-hmm.
starting 24 hours prior the launch,
Mm-hmm.
but the load closures are active T minus 8 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking I don't have any exclusion zone at my disposal about Falcon 9, let's say, when they launch from 39A, but that's definitely not affecting. Um, well, I mean, Slick 41. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, if you remember, we were not even allowed to do a bus tour
Yeah,
near the
exactly.
gantry, anywhere near the gantry. The what is it called? The 39 gantry tower.
39
Gantry, I
Gantry
think.
Tower, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's for the tourists,
Hmm.
and we couldn't even go there. So, uh, good question. Good question.
Yeah, maybe, but that's for public. But for example,
Mm-hmm.
let's say allowed guys or allowed people can just go near to the pad if it's
Okay,
needed.
but if you think about the same logic, to be fair, as long as the vehicle is not getting loaded with fuel and oxygen, there is no real hazard, right?
That's true,
So
yeah.
so I can imagine that for the Slick 41, 40 guys, they still can crack on with the work, and they have to leave like I don't know, like 1 or 2 hours in advance to a launch because
um yeah, if I'm thinking about, there are at the so during the test flights there are different roadblocks. So there is a hard roadblock and there is a small, or I don't know what's the other one called,
soft.
but well, let's say soft, okay. So there is a nearer roadblock which is activated T minus 4 hours prior launch. So I guess it will be valid for the ULA engineers and ULA people. But yeah, it's still
Yeah,
it's
probably
still
1 hour
quite,
is too close, but like two,
yeah.
three, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So of course we are still quite a lot, not a lot of years, but some years until the Starship will be launched um, every day.
Preferably. Yeah.
So it's quite a middle field, or a middle term
Hmm.
problem, not a near future problem.
Hmm.
And of course there is another quite big plan in terms of LC49, where yeah, that's that's not 100% sure. So that's the 39, 37.
That's 37. Yeah.
Yeah. But just one sentence about the 49. That's the very top or the very northern launch pad in the Kennedy Space Center. And SpaceX planned or still plans to build six, I say again, six towers in total. Maybe because in longer term they want to use that's the most frequently, because it's far from everything. It's just and the top north edge of the Kennedy Space Center, which means that it's far from everything of and yeah, except probably in the beach. So maybe it's not good for the everyday people who wants to go to the beach. But anyway, in terms of the operation of the entire Kennedy Space Center, maybe that would mean the lowest risk or the smallest problem for the other companies which are already taken either in the Kennedy Space Center or rather in the Space Force base. So, but moving to the 37 launch pad, that's a quite good render about it. And it's still not 100% sure how it will look like exactly, because on the other hand, there are words about 4 towers, from which will be 2 launch tower and 2 catch towers, but maybe only the half of it will be built up actually. So there will be 1 launch pad or launch tower and 1 catch tower, and it's separated as by the 39A, because if you are thinking about the I just forgot the maintenance work. Okay, so the maintenance time. So if they have a separated catch tower, that means for the launch pad a smaller damage. Okay, so that means that they can use more frequent the launch pad if they have a separated catch tower. So that's why they will have separated catch towers on every launch site. And if you are going to the next picture or graphic, or there is a satellite photo, I think, what you have already showing. Yeah, that's it. So that's the current phase or current situation, how the 37 looks like. Yeah, that was previously the ULA site for the Delta rocket family. And yeah, this big VIF, so the vertical integration facility, was just demolished during our last stay in Florida, and we haven't seen it live, but we were just couple of hours later when this big tower was just demolished with the lightning towers. And currently that's the situation how this launch site looks like. But that means that the SpaceX guys could already go in there. So the ULA took everything, every infrastructure, and that means that it's already the SpaceX site, so they can start to build up at least 2 or 4 towers, as I mentioned, in the next couple of years. But yeah, it will take time to modify everything. So they will just ground everything, every remaining infrastructure or everything. If you just grounded 0.
I tried to figure out exactly what's gonna be the layout for the launch pads. Probably here one, I guess. Um, I don't know. Probably here and here somewhere, I guess.
Can be.
Not anyway. We don't know anyway. But this is the way it looks like. Uh-huh.
Can you go back, please, to the previous render?
No, I try to compare, but these roads are not there yet. This dome area it is,
Are you
but
sure? Because these bottom corners are already there with the curves. I
Yeah,
mean the road curves.
this one, you mean?
No. A bit at the next to it at the very end of the
Top, bottom, left, right.
bottom.
Yep.
So there are two curves, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in the on
Okay.
the road, and it's already there on the render as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, possibly. Mm-hmm.
Can you see?
Yep. Yeah, we will.
So
Yeah, we will
the
see
first
exactly
X is
how it's gonna be.
actually at the
Mm-hmm.
position. So your estimate was correct, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Mm-hmm.
northern tower will be around at the corner of the site. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Okay. What else? Yeah, I think we have this one.
Hmm.
Probably that's, yeah, probably we could have saved some speculation if I just opened this very photo. But yeah, we like speculating,
Why not?
as you know. Right. Okay. I think this is it regarding to space. In Starship. Um, we got some other topics we just quickly wanted to cover because that's quite interesting. Because we are, I mean, on our channel we are just making a video about private space stations, and as you know, and I think we covered probably two shows ago some space station plans, and that would look cool if they would ever build space stations from, I don't know, from starships. I think that's a quite good plan, a quite cool plan,
Hmm.
but obviously we just don't know if it ever gonna happen or not. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna show you one of these photos. Yeah, I'd like that. But before that, there will be some private space stations that NASA will, well, partly fund and being built by companies. And it just came to our attention that this
CLD.
CLD, yeah, program. Thank you. Is getting to the next phase, the second phase. So soon, some of these stations gonna get built. Axiom Station, maybe Orbital Reef from Sierra Space and Blue Origin, but that get delayed a little bit. Vast is getting launched next
Hmm.
year, which is pretty cool. Who did I miss? What else?
Starlab.
Starlab. Yep, Starlab. Um, so yeah, the problem is that it looks like NASA is changing their approach to CLP, um, to the CLP program, and it looks
CLD.
like
Like
CLD. I don't know
Delta.
what. Yeah, development. Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
commercial
Commercial Leo
Leo
development. Yeah.
development. Yeah, CLD. Thank you. And the problem is that they are stepping away from, it looks like, from funding long-term missions, which is, I'm quite chuffed about it. Pam Melroy just wrote an article on payload.com, payloadspace.com, payloadspace.com, and yeah, it just looks like they are trying to cut some funding towards it and save some money. Just to give you some figures, it looks like a human flight to the International Space Station, so going there and back, costs for NASA around between 300 to 400 million each. And cargo flights, which usually they have 5 of them each year, each of them costs around 150 million plus. So it's not cheap, but they try to step away now and sort of shorten the duration of these flights, and they try to utilize these space stations in the future, and they only try to have like 30-day missions and launching them frequently. So if we think about, let's say, each mission gonna last for a month, so it means that 12 launches, 12 human launches a year. It's not hard to come up with a figure that on the long term, probably that's going to cost even more. Okay, the ISS has a budget to actually run it. But obviously, these missions, I mean, these space stations, gonna cost money for NASA, and not even mentioning that that NASA was proposing, or the medical community was proposing to NASA, that in to be able to actually go to Mars, they kind of estimate they need about 100, roughly 100, 6 to 9 month human mission in microgravity to have enough data, that sufficient data that they can say that, okay, we need to do this or that for our spacecraft, to be safe for humans. And NASA is quite far away from that. And okay, at the moment it looks like they're gonna have less missions, and the duration is gonna be longer, right? From six
Yeah,
months to 9 months,
and with fewer people.
with
So
fewer
instead of
people.
four, there will be only three at the in each crew.
Yep. So it means for every crew member, that's gonna be more work
Hmm.
on the space station.
Yes.
So it means less science. And so seeing these developments, yeah, this is not really promising. And I don't know why. We were just discussing this. This is the vast Haven 2 mission, well, space station, sorry. And at some point, it might look like this. Um, but it looks like that America is just now sort of weakening its own position in
Hmm.
space, whilst it looks like China is just stepped into the phase when the Chinese presence, constant, continuous presence in space, is now sustained. So it's ongoing because the Tiangong station is permanently habited. So they are ramping up their capability to be in space and doing more science, whilst the US is decreasing its presence. It's a bit scary, I have to say, for the future of NASA and
Yeah,
American.
and it's quite hard to understand or believe that this is the way how NASA wants to prosper.
Hmm.
But
Well, I don't know if they will prosper, but exist.
yes, yeah, rather the exist is a better word, because they are on a good way to just demolish everything what they have built up in the last couple of decades.
Hmm.
So of course the world is changing, and the space is changing. That's good, and NASA has to maybe grow up for the new situation as well. But that doesn't mean that they have to destroy everything. So it doesn't mean they have to lose the first place in everything,
Hmm. Yep.
because the proud of the nation, I mean, the US won't allow it. So they want to be at the first place in everything, in the on the earth as well, and beyond the earth as well.
Yeah, but at the moment it looks like at least Pam Meroy was talking about the actual possibility that the constant presence of US astronauts in space might end, and
Yeah,
there will be times when at certain moments when there are no American in space, which is,
yeah. That's why I'm mentioning that they are in a good way to lose the first place and lose everything what they have built up.
yeah, yeah, definitely this is not the way to win the race to the moon and to Mars, especially to Mars, because you need data, you need information, you need solid data you can build on your future. We just thought that we're gonna mention this because this is something that we are really not happy for. We always try to be bipartisan, and that's why we don't try to drag politics into this. But these developments, they definitely, we think this is definitely not pointing towards the right direction in terms of science, in terms of American space technology and development. Yeah, we will see. Definitely, we're gonna cover it, and hopefully, it will be covered in other corners of the internet. So yeah, we will see. Um,
Mhm.
okay, we definitely are at the end of our show. Thanks for tuning in. please do not forget that on Tuesdays and Fridays, Felix is waiting you for the usual regular weekly episodes. So Tuesdays, Fridays, definitely look forward these. The What About It channel has a 24/7 live camera, as you can see right now. You can tune in anytime, and it's very free to smash the like button just to subscribe to the channel. They have What About It Plus channel. You can watch these programs that we have on Mondays. You can look them back or watch them back right there. And I think let's hope that Ship 37 gonna be rolled out today. It's gonna be spin prime tested tomorrow. It will be rolled back, and let's cross our fingers that we're gonna still have Flight 10 at the end of this month. It's it's a bit iffy.
Iffy, yeah, that's why I want to say.
Yeah, 20 days, but
Yeah, we will be more clever after this test and the results of them.
And of course we're gonna see how the heat tiles are, so how finished they are. So yeah, let's see how it turns out. Okay, thanks for being with us, and have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the week, and we see you next Monday. So up until then, take care, have a good day, bye.
Yeah, see you next Monday. Bye bye.